Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is the Oakley Podcast, Trucking, Business, and Family. And today on the episode, we're going to have an episode today with, we're sitting down with two owner-operators that have just leased on to Oakley, fresh out of orientation. Hadn't even hauled a load yet. We called them in here this afternoon after they got through doing the trailer demonstration, and we're going to visit with them on the recruiting process and the orientation process. I think it's going to be a good little segment here for you guys to tune in, help you understand what they just went through, and maybe give you some tips too on what to do and what not to do. So, but first, before we get started on that, let's do an Oakley update sponsored by Arrow Truck Sales. Arrow Truck Sales has been in business for over 60 years and a longtime partner of Oakley Trucking and the Oakley Podcast. Trey Visor and Keith Wilson do a great job at putting you in the right truck to fit your needs and our needs here at Oakley. They carry all makes and models to choose from with on-site financing through transport funding. So whether you are a seasoned owner-operator or a first-time buyer, be sure to contact Keith Wilson at Arrow Truck Sales at 573-216-6047 and tell him you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. So the Oakley update today is pretty simple. You've heard it before, but I'm going to have to reiterate it because we've been getting some customers calling us. The weather's changed. It's all beautiful. It's hot and everything out there, and we're getting a few customers calling us that guys are showing up in shorts on the facilities, and it's just not. It's that can't happen. When they're calling us, telling us that that's a problem, then it's a problem. So I just want to remind you, when you go to a shipper or receiver, you got to abide by the rules. And a lot of them have different rules that you got to figure out what they are. You know, some of them you got to have your PPE on as soon as you step out of the truck. You got to have hard hat, safety glasses, steel-toe boots on some places. I mean, it's all different because I understand I'm talking to hoppers, end dumps, and pneumatics, and there's always a little bit of difference in what the customers require, but it's real simple. I mean, we even had one call in, and they had their real young son get out of the truck and go into the scale house and get paperwork. That's a no-no. You know, you can't do that. Just things, use common sense. I know you do it every day, and it can get relaxed on it, but just remember, man, it's all about appearance. It's about Oakley's reputation, and it's taking care of these customers that pay us and we pay you. So be sure and abide by their rules at all customer facilities. So appreciate that. Hey, let's get cranked up here. We've got John Gray and Josh Cochran. You go by Josh, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Josh Cochran. These guys just completed orientation today and got them up here. I thought we would get just a little fresh look at what the process was that they went through. And two good guys that I've met this week and seem to be doing great. First, I guess, let's meet you guys. Let our listeners know who they're talking to here first. John, let's go start with you.
Yeah, I'm John Gray out of Christiansburg, Virginia. 44 years old this year. Two kids, one little boy that's 5 named Cruz, Addison that's 13. Really blessed, been married 15 years this year, actually this month.
Nice, congratulations.
Been together 20 years, so really stable relationship there. Really supportive wife, I may add. And in this business, it takes that. I enjoy a lot of different things. I enjoy fishing, I enjoy hunting, just being at the lake with some buddies, and I enjoy trucking. So that's pretty much my story. Trucking's been in my life ever since I was born, and I guess I'm still here at it.
Good.
So,
Josh, how about you, man?
Yeah, so I'm Josh. I'm from the Greensboro, North Carolina area. Found Oakley, and I'm blessed to be here. One thing about me is prior military. So I got that background, that rigid background. Dad was prior service, so saying yes, sir, and no, ma'am, before I could walk, you know.
How long were you in the military?
I was in for 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, in the Army. Once I got out of the Army, it was like, what am I going to do? So I started working for Old Dominion. I was a company driver, for a while. And now this is my first step into owner operating. So it's a lot to take on. I've been married since October, so newlywed. Got 2 dogs, 2 German short-haired pointers who drive me up the wall. They are, but they're my family. And having a good wife like John here is very important. And she's been with me every step of the way, being a truck driver, and pretty much just working out and staying active. Anything outdoors is something that I love to do outside of trucking. So, I see a lot of guys coming up to me asking me, how do you stay in shape and everything, and it's just something that if you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It takes some dedication, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So, how in the world did you guys hear about Oakley?
Well, I always seen Oakley. Obviously, I've been trucking pretty much all of my life since I was 18 until I could go out of state when I turned 21. My deal is I've run through here hundreds of times. I'd always seen Oakley trucks. Never did know much about Oakley. I just knew they pulled bulk material, pneumatics, dump trailers, and hopper bottoms. And
Now, what was your background in, John?
I've pulled flatbed,
Okay.
van, you name it. So I've never been into the hauling the bulk. When I started when I was 18 years old, I had a dump truck and a day cab Peterbilt with a dump trailer. So, but basically that was just a lot of sand and stone. No fertilizers, no scrap, no, none of the other commodities you guys haul. And,
So you just came through. You would see us on the roads.
Oh, 100%.
You ever talk to any?
No, never did talk to anybody. Just, passing through, you see the trucks a lot. You always got nice trucks.
Right.
Oakley's always been top notch, always nice trailers. And when you see that type of company that's, and I knew Oakley had been around a while. I wasn't sure of the years, but I knew they'd been around a long time. And, when you see that kind of equipment at a company on the good days and the bad days, they're doing a little something.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. What about you, Josh?
So I actually heard about Oakley from a friend who had a friend working here. So being in the LTL industry, it's always been a goal of mine to own my own rig, own my own company. There's more out there for us drivers, if we're willing to put the work in and have our own truck. And
Is
do
that
our
a lot of
maintenance.
body's dream out there? A lot of company drivers? Is that?
No, it's not. But I'm of the mindset that if somebody's going to make it, why can't I make it?
Yeah.
And so some of those guys will just get comfortable of not having to worry about all the ins and outs of owning your own rig. And that's okay. They also need drivers. But I'm of the mindset that, I want to set my family up, maybe set up a company, maybe get some more trucks in the fleet, just whatever I can do for my family, for my legacy or generation, something like that. But I heard about it through, like I said, a friend who knew a friend. And then it was a guy that I had kind of knew of, not known, and then got to talking with him. And he really loved it, really enjoyed it. And he expressed the family atmosphere around Oakley, the equipment, the standards. And then once, that bug got planted, it was doing the research, like John talked about, doing, your due diligence as far as watching YouTube videos and podcasts like this one, and just talking to more drivers. Since then, I've talked to 2 other drivers that have a similar background that I've had coming from the same company. And, they just can't express, how good it is just to get out and give owner-operator a chance, and how well Oakley helps you adjust to that.
The research part of it, you got tools now that we didn't used to have when you research companies and stuff. And
Absolutely.
Now you got tools to do that. I guess that helped you guys a lot. You mentioned the podcast and anything else, though. But we can even slow down and go to, hey, you decided to call Oakley at some point. You looked them up. Did you do a lot of research before you called us
It took me 3 months.
to call?
3 months of research because I wanted to make sure it was the right move.
Right.
Obviously, you guys require a newer truck. I'm used to the older trucks. I just come from the old school,
Yeah.
So, and I'd called and talked to Kent after multiple, podcasts. I'd interacted with some of the drivers on the Facebook page.
Okay.
I'd had some of them message me. I'd ask questions. Shoot me straight. Just let me know what to expect, where I'm at. A lot of them showed me their pay sheets.
Oh, really?
Yep. Without asking.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of them, out of the 3 months worth of research, I can count on one hand how many negative comments I found. And those negative comments came from somebody that's not in the trucking industry. They don't know anything about Oakley, or they're just there to just
They don't work
leave.
here.
They don't work here. They never have worked here. So I can honestly say that through all of my research, I haven't found any negative research, any negative comments, period. It was, and I told this in orientation this week, and it was almost too good to be true story. And that's the vibe I got. My father-in-law, actually, he's like, I was telling him about it, because, they were kind of, it's trucking. You got good days and you got bad days.
Yeah.
And, he's like, I just hope things go good, and I'm like, listen, I started telling him, he said, well, this sounds too good to be true. And I'm like, you're right, it does. I said, but I'm going with it because I feel good about it.
Yeah.
So, and then I called Kent.
All right. Who was your recruiter, Josh?
Dustin Eagle.
Okay. So you guys, you make the call, you do some research. How did that conversation go? I know you had multiple of them.
Right.
Phone calls with them, but how did that go?
First conversation, because I was waiting on Dustin to call, because I had already told my buddy that had, kind of put the bug in my ears, like, I want to call. And he's like, well, there's a process here, because, they get a
Recruiting
percentage.
bonus, yeah.
Right, a recruiting bonus. So he wanted me to wait for that call, and I was just so eager that I was like, I'm going to call. And as soon as I called, I said, well, I was just about to call, so. Yeah. And then talking to you guys, all of you guys, not just my recruiter, but it's, the same with all of you. It's just, you're so easy to talk to. I think you kind of mentioned this earlier. It's about let's, undershoot and over-deliver. So, you guys shoot it straight, and then, like John said, people aren't afraid to show you, like, look, this is what you can do if you want to get out here and work, and you learn, you do everything the right way. Be safe about it, and this is what you guys can have. And so having those conversations with other people and then talking to the recruiter, it's like these guys aren't like salesmen. They're not trying to say, hey, come buy this new flashy thing. This is trucking, but, we take care of you as long as, you guys are those people that, we like here at Oakley, which is, clean cut. You're willing to do the things, like you said, for customers, making sure you're presentable and those things. And so that also, like he said, it gives you that, like, too good to be true, family oriented place. And it helps you know that these guys are doing things by the book the right way. And, if you got companies that are taking care of the little things, and the big things that you actually kind of do worry about, you don't.
You guys stepped off here, and this is your first truck, right?
This is not my first
Not
truck.
your first truck.
Right.
But you bought a truck. This is your first truck,
This is
Josh.
my first truck, yes, sir.
Okay, so your first time becoming an owner-operator. So, yeah,
Yes, sir.
That's nervous.
It is. It is.
Nerve-wracking.
Yes, sir.
But buying a truck, so a lot of people worry about buying the truck process. And you're going to have some patience to get that done.
Yes, sir.
To do that. How did that process go, and were we involved in any of that anyway, and how'd that go?
On my end, I can't speak for him because everybody's situation's different, but I will say this. I've owned quite a few trucks over the years since I started at 21, and I'm used to older trucks. I'm not going to lie, spending six figures on a newer truck to come to a company that you just learned about, it's nerve-wracking. It'll make your hands sweat.
Yep.
But after calling in and talking to Kent and getting all the information I needed, I can honestly say I'm super thankful for him, because when I showed up here, there's not one piece of information that he didn't tell me I needed that I didn't have. That makes the recruiting process on his end and me showing up to a company that I've never met before super easy. There was never, And I've thanked him multiple times because I'm just going, everybody's situation different. I didn't have a hiccup.
That's awesome.
I rolled in. I knew what to expect when I got here. I had all my stuff together. There was not you got to do this, you got to do this, this don't work, you got to fix this. Everything went smooth. And as long as you listen to your recruiter, you won't ever have a problem. I mean, so.
Right. We run into that. It's a recruiting process.
At Mac Trailer, you can hit the road knowing our trailers have been rigorously tested by our in-house R&D engineers, carefully assembled by skilled craftsmen, and backed by a trusted network of dealers across the nation. We build our dump, flatbed, transfer, pneumatic tank, straight truck bodies, and liquid tank trailers to meet your most specialized hauling needs. Mac Trailer. Experience excellence.
So what kind of truck did you buy? What did you buy, John?
I bought a 2022 Freightliner 122 SD.
Nice. What'd you get, Josh?
And I got a 2020 Peterbilt 567.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good trucks. Any specifics with it to do this job that you needed? I mean,
Me personally, I was looking for a heavier base truck. I know they like to keep it light
Right.
at Oakley, but I wanted something with a bigger motor, with the DD16, the 600 horsepower motor. I wanted something to be able to do what I wanted to do, and to do the job efficiently. And believe me, I looked at a lot of trucks. There's different trucks.
how long did that take you to buy a truck?
It took me a month of looking. And now listen, anybody in the trucking industry knows right now that trucks, once they're posted, they don't last long.
They're gone.
Right.
And there was a truck just like mine in Kansas City that it posted that night, and I got up the next day, and I was like, yeah, it was about lunchtime by the time I decided I wanted to call, and I called, and it was gone.
Yeah.
So, and that just shows people, if you're interested in coming here and you find something, you got to jump on it because
Right.
they're not going to last.
Same with you, Josh?
Similar situation. Talking to some of the guys that had worked here, that do work here, and talking to the recruiter about, certain specs that you guys require, 5 years or newer, making sure that it's in tip-top shape. And there's, things that you got to have depending on what division that you do. So you got to make sure your truck is capable of handling all those things. Found a truck probably after 6 weeks of looking, finding the right one, talking to different salesmen, telling them, okay, this is the exact specs that I want on a truck. On a Friday evening, salesman got a listing of a truck, no pictures, nothing, just a listing. On Saturday, I was driving down getting the service people to let me come look at the truck. And then on Monday at 8 o'clock, I had the truck in my name before 10 o'clock. So, I mean, it was the next closest one, I think, was San Antonio. So I actually found one close to home in Hickory, North Carolina, close to Greensboro. And like he said, the only reason, there wasn't a picture, nothing. So luckily, nobody else had even come because there was one truck that I wanted to go look at, and the guy was test driving it, and he said he'll call me back when he gets done. And he said, sorry, the guy wrote a check for it as soon as he got out of the truck.
It's a quick process, and like I told you guys, I've always had Peterbilt or Kenworth, and that's a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of hurt my pride because all my buddies know, they know what I drove, they know what I bought.
So they're going to give you a hard time.
So I did. I got a hard time because I bought a Freightliner. But to me, it's a piece of equipment,
Yep.
and it makes money. So why would I want to spend $50,000 to $80,000 to $100,000 more to look good? Which I still think I look good.
Oh, it looks
sitting
great.
out
It
there in the
looks great.
parking lot. I ain't gonna drive junk, but to do the same job.
Yep.
And I had to find something that made me comfortable. And coming into a new company, spending $260 would not have made me comfortable.
Right.
Yes, a couple years from now, things are going the way I anticipate, then I may make a change.
Right.
But to get going, and I encourage anybody, don't overdo yourself, coming into any company. But I can promise you this: I really stress the point it stressed me out, I guess, spending that kind of money. But then once I realized what type of operation this is, what type of people I'm dealing with here, and how nice everybody's been, and the money and the commodities you guys haul, I personally don't worry about it. I know as long as I stay in that truck and I work that truck, it'll pay for itself.
So kind of leaning towards that a little bit, let's talk about that orientation process. So you go through the recruiter, you do your research first, you talk to a recruiter, you get pre-approved here to come to orientation, come to work here, you buy the truck all at the same time probably.
It's all going on. Everything's going on at one time.
That's some stressful conversations.
That was it. That was to me, that was the most stressful part. Coming here, you guys, orientation, the way everything runs, Mr. Randolph.
Shout out to Mr. Randolph.
Absolutely. Like the way in which the culture has been built around here, especially in this office, I think you guys have done a great job of running a tight ship and just being down-to-earth people that we could talk to if we have a problem or a hiccup. I mean, mine wasn't as smooth as John's as far as like some of the things, but that wasn't nothing that, you guys didn't tackle in 15 minutes with Miss Wendy or, JP or Dustin or anybody else that, helped along the way. They knew what to do. I mean, they're on top of it.
They're professionals.
Absolutely.
So,
you come in on a Sunday night at the hotel, and then you drive over here, because it's not very far from the hotel. You get over here first thing Monday morning, and Randolph meets you out there at the shop, and Miss Teresa, and that's the first thing you do is pick out your decal colors.
Yes, sir.
And we start looking at trucks and making sure everything's good on the trucks.
Got to get that level 1 done.
Got to get that done.
And then you can pick them decals out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So you kind of that, and then you get over here, you meet Randolph, and then he brings you over to the office, and
yes, sir.
And you get ready to do a drug test, physical that morning, eat, and then that afternoon is basically Randolph preaching at you, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Or cracking jokes.
laying
or
down the
law
for the week. Here's what we're gonna do.
Yep. And all that to me, it was great, because I still, even though that I'd done my research, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So, Kent told me, he said, when you come in there, it's going to be some bays. He said, you pull up to one of those bays, he said, and they'll get you through the shop. And I'm like thinking, okay. So I pull up to that bay, talk to Miss Teresa. She told me everything I needed to do. They got the trucks in, got the trucks out. You pick out your letters. Randolph shows up, he talks to everybody, takes you over to the orientation room, and it's really, honestly, I can say he made it a breeze. Yeah. Everybody here and you'll speak to a lot of people here, a lot of great people with a lot of great information. All you got to do is listen.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. So
so much information,
and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And he'll tell you too. I mean, it's a lot of information to go through, and we've been here a week now.
Yeah, and we'll still, from here on out, we'll absorb the same information again.
Sure.
And we'll soak it up a little bit more. But it's nothing that you guys hadn't prepared us for and that we're not prepared for when we leave. We got open lines of communication. We got all the notes that you guys gave us that we're going to keep with us. So it's nothing that we can't reach back and have a Rolodex of numbers or information, to look back on.
I would suggest maybe bringing a 2-wheel dolly, because I think I'm going to be about 50 pounds overweight out here with all the paper.
All the stuff, yeah.
But and really, in all honesty, like he's saying, I can leave out of here today, even though we have somebody that we're going to kind of follow around and learn the Oakley way, and I can leave out of here today, honestly, and there's no reason that any owner operator coming here can't look at a paper, pick up a telephone, or any of the above. If it's been talked about, we have a paper on it. And I don't know too many people that do that.
Oh,
yeah.
To this extent.
That's what that handbook.
Sure.
We got all the papers in that thing.
People hand out handbooks.
Yeah.
I've never seen a handbook like this. But that handbook like this is what's going to help you succeed in the long run. Because if you're busy or it's after hours or late, and even though you say, call me, and I know you'll answer, it's in that handbook.
Yep.
And I can revert back to that handbook, and I can see, or I can say, okay, I need to stop. This is what I need to do. This is the process it goes through, and it's just simple. It's just a simple process.
Yeah. What about the other guys in orientation? So there's a total of 8 of you guys in there.
Yes, sir.
It was 8 this week.
And y'all didn't know each other before you got here, right?
No,
No,
sir.
Just met Monday, and
Yep.
here it is Thursday.
I pulled in the hotel, and he's sitting there.
Oh, yeah?
I think we were about 5 hours early because he won't let us check in till 3 o'clock.
yeah.
Yeah. So I saw him Uber out somewhere, and I'm like, oh shoot! I left the house, and I had my shovel and broom sitting at the house, and I forgot to put it in the truck.
Oh, no.
So I run over to Lowe's, pick up, and then I went to Cracker Barrel and got something to eat, and the next morning we're here.
Yeah.
But like I said, he was there when I got there, and we were definitely early. So nice hotel.
Yeah, and I spoke to you guys actually this morning and talked during the week, but great group of guys.
Oh, everybody in
absolutely.
there.
I mean, that's
We had a great time.
great group of guys. That's to me that helps with you make friends while you're in there.
That made the week extremely easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't. You just want to be able to get along because you're all doing the same thing all week long. So it really helps to be able to do that.
We made it worthwhile. It
Yeah.
was definitely entertaining, especially with Randolph.
Did y'all
chiming
swap
in.
phone numbers?
Yeah, we did.
Good.
Some of us got other phone numbers, and I
Good.
guess we all did during the whole process sometime or
Good.
another.
Well, it's good to stay in touch with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we had a few different personalities. It definitely helps.
Sure.
Oh yeah, and
And
that's
we meshed real well.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yep. That's life.
So what do you think about, I guess today, is one of the most important days because today you've been outside all day.
All day.
And somebody that's, y'all, and you pulled dump for a little while, but
Yes.
you never have done any dry bulk, have you, Josh?
No, sir.
So, this is where the operating the equipment comes in.
Absolutely.
Big day today. How'd it go?
I personally think it went great, and especially for someone that's never been in the business, that's never done it. I can promise you one thing: you will not leave here, will you, and not know how.
No, not at all. And we go over it several times. We watched videos on the same thing we did today. It's different when you get out there and you get to put your hands on, because I know I do. I think, John, you as well learn a whole lot better when you actually get to move the levers yourself.
Yeah, because
and-
both of y'all pulling dumps.
Right, we both do end dumps, and Randolph makes sure that we know everything that we're supposed to be doing the Oakley way on all this equipment. Like I said, there's information to fall back on, in case somehow you get out there and you're like, okay, this is new and I'm by myself. What do I do?
Right.
It's there, phone call away.
That'll get your attention raising that trailer up there.
Absolutely. It
40
stands
40
straight
foot
up.
looks short to a lot of people on the ground, but I told him, I said, when it stands up, 40 foot looks a long way,
It does, doesn't it?
and it does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that gets your attention that
Yes,
you got to
sir.
pay attention to.
And,
all
and
the
if
time.
if it doesn't get your attention, then something's wrong.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Because it's definitely
He loaded somebody. Did he load
yeah,
one
we
of y'all?
loaded Larry got loaded, I think, earlier this morning.
Okay.
And we went over the process again.
The gauges,
The
axle and out?
gauges. I actually zeroed him or got him tuned in with my little trusty screwdriver.
Okay.
So we got him. He's the only one, but we got him set up and weighed him, and he got the live dump on site, and got him loaded up, and Larry's a great guy.
Oakley Trucking is a 100% owner-operator company. We specialize in hopper bottom, end dump, and pneumatic trailers. We provide the trailer free of charge, and you provide the truck. We have a large customer base that reaches the whole United States as well as parts of Canada. Our owner-operators live anywhere from Texas to North Carolina to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin and everywhere in between, and we get them home weekends. We take it seriously when you join Oakley Trucking because we need you to be successful. Oakley offers great benefits and competitive mileage pay, so you know that when your wheels are turning, you're generating money no matter if you're loaded or empty. We understand that you want to make a good living and that you make our living. We only take on independent contractors, and to be honest with you, we are very particular on who we lease on. You must have a good driving record, good work history, and clean, dependable truck. So if you're interested in Oakley Trucking or just want some more information, you can go to oakleytrucking.com, listen to our weekly podcast, The Oakley Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Can you explain that a little bit to people that are listening that don't have a clue what you just said about zeroing him in?
So basically, here at Oakley, if you come as an end dump, whether you have a wetline kit or not, I would suggest using their wetline kit. basically they put the wet line kit on the truck for you. They use a right way gauge that comes in a nice box, and the trailer also has a gauge. So when we loaded Larry with the front end loader, and we got him pretty close to what the gauges were. So then we took Larry over to the scales, scaled his truck, then we scaled the tandems and the trailer, and then by the time you put all the numbers together, then we knew exactly where he needed to be. Because those scales, obviously, the trailer was dead on because somebody had probably pulled it and already zeroed the trailer. But they have little screws on them, and you can use this little screwdriver that they give you. And whenever, say you need 34 on your rear tandems on your trailer and you need 34 on your truck, the scale on the truck that they install here is reading your truck pressure, and the scale on the trailer is reading the trailer. So once we loaded him on the front and back, then we figured out, once we weighed him on the scale, that he was about 2,000 pounds light on his drives. So then you go back, you add another 2,000 pounds, put him back on the scale, make sure it's right, and then you'll adjust that. And once you adjust that to, everything's within 500-pound increments. So once you adjust it to the 34,000 and the trailer at 34,000, then basically the next time when he goes and loads, whenever Larry goes loads, he'll know exactly where he's at.
He'll know those gauges.
If he's in the field, if he's in a place that doesn't have a scale, which sometimes happens,
Right.
he'll already know.
Yeah.
He'll be really, really close.
Yep.
So
you guys are going to have to do that
we'll have to do it whenever we load.
whenever you load.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll take a little bit to get right. But yeah,
And like I said,
good explanation.
most companies just throw you out there, whether you've done it or not. And just because somebody's done it doesn't mean you remember everything about it. And you will learn. You'll learn every day in this job. You'll learn how Oakley likes things. You'll learn how the customers like things. And to have those handed to you pretty much here is definitely a great option.
Any advice you would give somebody that's over there driving at Old Dominion, or is a company driver, or somebody that's another company pulling a flatbed, about changing jobs, everybody's hesitant to change jobs?
Yeah, the one thing that I would say is make sure it's something that it's going to be a little bit more work. It's going to be I wouldn't say it's more stressful, because in any job you get out there, I mean, you could be doing anything. There could be people out here working for companies doing similar stuff, and you're going to find some of the same stressors here. But it's a great opportunity to set yourself up, your family, for a better future. And the company here, you guys have almost 1,000 drivers. I mean, you guys, 800 and so many drivers. So there's a reason that Oakley is still around, that Oakley is still growing, and that you guys take such good care of your trailers, your equipment, and the people and the culture that you have. So if it's something that you're hesitant or reserved about doing, call a recruiter. You're the head of recruiting. You call Jeremy Kellett.
Yeah.
Talk to him. He'll assist you with Kent, Dustin, or Corey, and just talk to them. If you're hesitant about it, ask people that are here. Ask people that are around. Watch the videos. Watch the podcast. Just listen to other owner operators, and then from there, you can make your best judgment. But I mean, don't be afraid to reach out and to ask. And at worst, you don't come to Oakley, but at best, you come to Oakley and you get to meet everybody here, and you get to be part of the family.
Yeah.
And if anybody listening has a question from somebody that just went through the process, and Jeremy, I mean, we literally just went through the process.
Yeah.
We haven't even loaded the wagon yet.
Yeah.
We rolled the rag a couple times,
Yeah.
but we haven't loaded the wagon. And, I'll be more than happy to answer questions, and Jeremy's free to give my number out to anybody that does have a question. And I'm going to shoot you straight. Kent shoot me. He shot me straight when I started. Actually, when I came in and some of the pays that's one thing that's really impressive that I found out in orientation, because Randolph, great guy, but the numbers, Randolph would show us numbers, different drivers' numbers, and these numbers that Randolph actually showed us was less than some of the numbers that the drivers have sent me. So it's not like you're saying, oh, well, you could do this or you could do that. This is where you're going to do, and then you get here and you're like, I didn't make that much, and what's happening? It's not, and there's a lot of companies out there like that.
Yeah.
They throw it out high and you end up coming in low. Yeah. Here, it's I don't know, that earned a lot of my respect because we weren't thrown numbers and we weren't told one thing and it was going to be something else. We were told how it was going to be, and that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, we didn't get the top 2%. You know?
Yeah, sure.
We got
guys that
we got the straight shot.
Yeah, I mean, we got to flip through multiple different drivers, and I mean, you know, whether they're still here or not here, or regardless, I mean, we got to see basic numbers, and those numbers are impressive, and those numbers were, you know, along the lines of numbers I had seen before coming here, but there were some that were lower, there were some that were higher, there were some different trailers that you can pull here that were a lot higher than what I anticipated. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a big change to come from one job to another, and like I said, it can be strenuous, but I can promise you one thing: you guys make it as easy and as smooth as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. This is something. Actually, my wife gave me this idea yesterday. We were talking about the podcast and stuff. So I want you guys back in here in 6 months.
100%.
Okay.
And I want y'all to come back in 6 months, and let's talk about that, and then maybe come back in a year.
100%.
Maybe 2 years. And we'll just make it a regular deal to where you share your experiences out there of what's going on, and because you ain't even hauled a load yet.
Right.
But you're ready to.
Yes, sir.
And everything went.
We were ready a couple of days ago,
Yeah.
I feel like. But, but you know.
I think it'll be a great storyline to keep up with you guys.
I think so.
6 months from now. And let's see how John and Josh are doing.
I appreciate you even having us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you show up to a new place, and like I said, I've watched I know I've watched over 100 of these podcasts, a lot of the earlier ones. Yeah. But I think you're on to something. I mean, when it comes to the storytelling.
Good.
Because basically, you know, it gets, I guess, everybody watching, you can see, and you get to see those guys that started. And I'm kind of glad to be a part of that.
Right.
Because you can see where I started and he started, and things have progressed. And I'm going to shoot you straight, you know.
Yep.
Just like you guys shot me. I mean, I'm not here to, you know, we weren't paid to be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
that's right.
We ain't made a buck yet.
And if you're not following, and you know, if you're not following on the social media platforms, definitely do, because it's very informative. From tires to DOT officers, I think you had done. There's a lot of information and a lot of useful information.
Yeah. A lot of that information is old but still useful.
Oh, it's 100%
we did
useful.
a long time ago.
Right.
So we've been doing them for 3 years now, and there's still some good stuff.
Yeah, and things change, but it's still. I mean, there's a lot of information that if you don't know, you will know. Yeah.
All right, guys. Man, I appreciate y'all doing this.
Hey, thank you.
I think it's really good. It's going to be some good information to put out there. You know, I appreciate you being authentic. I mean, that's what it is. Tell them like it is.
Yes, sir.
It is what it is.
You can tell that right off the bat.
Yeah, and shout out to Ken again.
Oh, you got to quit that, man. He can't even get through the door right now.
Hey, he paid me. So.
Okay.
No, really, honestly, and I've, you know, shook Ken's hand and talked to him multiple times. If it wasn't for him, I don't feel like I would have been as prepared as I was.
Yeah.
And I know you've made comments about him being a senior recruiter. Yeah, he's kind of got some age on him. But and if we can just get him to work on time, that'd be a plus. He shows up 30 minutes late every day, but that's okay. He just makes his own schedule because he is a senior recruiter.
He's always a wreck on I-40.
He's going to kill you, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having us.
Having
And anybody interested, like I said, definitely give them a call. Take a chance.
I appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Oakley Podcast, man. We really appreciate it. We try to bring you good stuff every week we possibly can. So be sure and check us out, like John said, on all social media platforms. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next week.